back to another episode on the All the Mods 7 to the Sky series. I am once again joined with my wife Coco.
Hello.
And our goal for today's episode is to pursue a little bit more into Mekanism and pick up on a little bit more of the power generation from where we left off. So if we take a look back beforehand, we finished up the getting started section, and then today we're probably going to start dipping our toes into a little bit of getting started part 2, which as we can see here, getting into Mekanism is going to be the starting branch of that. We're gonna go to sleep real quick to hopefully try and knock out the rain. But in between streams, I did a little bit of off-camera work. I'll go ahead and show you guys in a little bit shortly some of the stuff that I was working on. But a few things to start noting out loud was I did a little bit excess resource gathering, so I try to work on farming up a lot of the extra like iron, gold, osmium, and stuff like that, things that we're going to be needing. I also crafted the storage controller, and in order to craft the storage controller, we needed not only 2 blocks of quartz, but a redstone comparator, which also takes quartz. So I went through a little whole process of getting the quartz, which in order to do so, I had to sieve soul sand through our iron meshes, and to get the soul sand we had to take witch water and put sand to the witch water to get soul sand, and in order to get the witch water we had to get mycelium seeds from taking dirt and sifting it through the meshes, and we ended up getting mycelium seeds, place it on a dirt block, turned it into mycelium, place water on that in an oak barrel, and it transforms into witch water. All we did was a little bit of rinse and repeat till we got enough soul sand through to get enough quartz, and I made the storage controller. So the storage controller is super fantastic because what it does is you can use a link card. Oops. You can take this linking tool, which also I ended up making off stream, but it's pretty simple. All you need is just a drawer, 2 gold, a diamond, and some paper. You take this little link card and you can shift right click and swap to the different modes. Either you want to add or remove. I selected it to add, and I shift right clicked all these drawers, so I added it to this one specific drawer controller. And what that allows me to do is I can take any resource. Let's say from out of here we'll take some of these diamonds, maybe we'll take some cinnabar, maybe a little bit of lapis, and all I have to do is come over here and right click this storage controller, and it'll put it all away for me in any of the drawers that are right here. Super fast, super nifty. So I made that for a little bit of quality of life upgrades. Another thing that I worked on in between streams was cherry wood saplings. I managed to get a cherry wood sapling from a watering trader that happened to pop by. So it cost me about 5 emeralds to get that. That way we could start making different trees in the future. Without further ado, let's start kicking off into pursuing a little bit of Mekanism. So over here, if we take a look at the quest book, I'm going to go ahead and claim my rewards for the soul sand. And we'll come over here to basic storage, claim the linking tool reward that we ended up making, and I'll claim this just to get this quest out of here. We're going to work on getting started part 2, so the first thing we need to make is a metallurgic infuser. In order to do so, we just need 2 furnaces, some iron, and some osmium, which luckily we do in fact have all of that, which is super neat, super fantastic. So let's go ahead and get that out. So take our osmium, we need to get a little bit of redstone, and we need just a little bit of cobblestone to make 2 furnaces. So let's make some 2 furnaces. Boom. And we need to make the metallurgic infuser. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Already got that taken care of. Super sweet. So next thing it wants us to work on is getting more of these infused alloys. So let's see exactly how many it wants us to make. It wants us to make 4 more. Get a basic control circuit and work on getting 2 energy tablets. So the reason why we are pursuing these parts, as it states right here, is to get the wind generator. So all we need to do is start by placing a piece of redstone in the far left slot and a piece of iron in the middle left slot, and this will make an infused alloy. With the controlled circuit, you'll need 2 pieces of redstone and an osmium ingot. Use these pieces to make 2 energy tablets. Put some coal into our little coal generator right here. Place a little metallurgic infuser right next to it. We need 1 redstone per 1 iron. This is going to work, so we need to get a total of 3 more. So we'll dump those in there, dump those in there. That's going to work on making us all the extra alloys that we need. And then to double back on the quest one more time, we also need to make a basic control circuit, which is going to be 2 redstone for every 1 osmium, which we have 1 osmium and 2 redstone. So as soon as this finishes up, we will get that in there. Shouldn't be too much longer. And then from there, we're going to make 2 energy tablets, which we'll need both the infused alloys for. Some gold and some redstone. Boom. Got all that done. Throw that in there. So we already know we're going to need gold for the future, so let me work on pulling some of that out. Sweet beans. Come over here, claim our basic control circuit. Let's knock out making 2 energy tablets. Bada bing, bada boom. Come back. We'll claim that quest. Move further down. So we have 2 routes. Either we can start working on storing power, which I think is going to be very smart to do, or we can work on making the enrichment chamber. First things first, I think we should work on storing power. That way we can actually, store power. So let's pursue that. So let's open up the quest book. I'm going to open the basic energy cube. We're going to bookmark that. And all we need is steel casing, which is going to take steel. In order to make steel, we need to make steel dust, which is iron dust and coal. So we need to work on making a hammer here. Not just any hammer, of course. It needs to specifically be all the ores hammer. So we need 2 iron blocks. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll get our sticks out. Boom. And what we're going to do next is we're going to work on we're going to want a lot of steel in the future. So let's take 64. We'll break this down. And next thing we're going to do is pull out a good solid chunk of boom. Unfortunately, we did just break that hammer. So let's make one more. Oh, wait, I actually threw the steel dust in there. Oops. Boom. So now we have a whole stack of steel. So let's work on getting this melted. So we'll do a little something like that. Pull that out. Beautiful. Alright, so that's working. So once we get a little bit of steel, let's take another look. So steel casing is going to be some glass as well as one more osmium. We have the osmium. Do we have the glass is the question. Let me check these chests over here. Unfortunately we don't, but we have plenty of sand, so no big deal at all. Let's go ahead. We'll break this down. I'll take this out, throw that in there. Sure, this will work perfectly fine. And then we'll just start working on getting some glass here. And not too much long later, we will have an energy cube, which is an advanced device for storing and distributing energy, which is super fantastic. Steel casing. Boom. Look at that, basic energy cube. What we're going to do is we're actually just going to park this right here on the back end of this coal generator. And it should start absorbing all the power that this coal generator is making. It's perfectly fine. So we'll just take it. It's going to start storing it in here. As you can see, we're already at almost 350,000 just from that, which is pretty phenomenal if you ask me. This coal generator is putting in a lot of work. So let's shimmy on back over here. Let's open up the quest book one more time. Let's pursue going a little bit forward. So next in line is we have pipes. We're going to wait on the pipes and the building tools. I'm going to wait on just a little bit. I'm going to work on getting the enrichment chamber. So in order to get the enrichment chamber, all we need is another basic control circuit and another casing, which thankfully we made a lot of glass because you can never go wrong with having a lot of glass. Boom, steel casing. And then another basic control circuit, which as we needed before, 1 osmium, 2 redstone. Not too difficult. Boom, boom. So as that's coming down, what else did we need here? That is it, and we will have everything that we need. It's perfectly fine. Boom. Alright, let's go craft this up. Enrichment chamber down. And what we're going to do is we're actually just going to park this right next to the metallurgical fusor, and then we'll hold on to that. Boom. Got that done. Didn't mean to pin that. So the enrichment chamber right here can turn 3 ores into 4 dust, which gives you about 25% more ingots. Mekanism also has a progression system that helps you create a factory that gives you even more from your raw ore. So this factory is what we're going to be doing here in the near future. But as of right now, we're just going to be focusing on the enrichment chamber. So every ore that we start getting in the future, we're going to start throwing it through there. So that way we can start getting a lot of a lot more ore. So right here, automated ore smelting with Mekanism. The factory is coming. So to set up automated ore smelting for Mekanism, you need to place the enrichment chamber to the left of your iron furnace and place a chest on top of both. In the enrichment chamber, use the side config settings to output to the right. Make sure to press the auto eject button to get items into the enrichment chamber. You'll need a pipe connecting the chest top to the machine. This can be done using an item pipe from pipes or basic logistical transporter pipe from Mekanism. In the iron furnace, you'll set it to input from the left and output to the top. Make sure to select the auto input and output for both options. So, you know what? As a matter of fact, why not? Let's just do this right now. Let's back in. It's going to go into the enrichment chamber. This is going to auto eject out to the right, which should auto go in here, which should then auto smelt. And then once that's done, it should auto eject up the top. So let's keep working on the quest line here. I guess the next step, because I think what we should pursue this episode is actually getting a flux sieve, which is an RF powered automatic sieve, as well as the flux hammer. So that way it just makes life so much easier for us. So let's work on getting the flux sieve real quick, actually, which we just need a fair bit of iron, which we have more than enough. So, and wanted iron bars, wanted a hopper, as well as a sieve, which is going to require some wood, some planks, and some sticks. And that should be all that's needed for that. So now we have the flux sieve. We also just talked about how we want to make the flux hammer. So we need a diamond hammer, which we currently already have. Sucks that we have to waste it, but it's okay. We just need some glass panes, iron blocks, and a hopper. Whoops. So we already have the iron blocks. We just need the glass panes. Should be no big deal. Bada bing, bada boom. Come over here. Whoops. Accidentally misclicked there. And boom. So actually, we need one more hopper. So we'll take the flux sieve and we'll take the flux hammer. Auto sieve mod made specifically for this pack. These machines have no output inventory. Sieve outputs to the bottom and the hammer's output to the front. And both auto output so you can have an entire system built without any pipes. Note these machines will not run without space in the output inventory. So, given that, we're gonna have to lift this up off the ground. We'll just take a double chest, put that under, and we will put the sieve on top. So we'll do, whoops. No, I just need to shift instead of crouching. Put the flux sieve right there, and we will take the energy pipe. Boom. Now it's starting to get redstone flux. So what we will look at doing is coming back over here. Now we're just going to do a little bit of a test run here. So let's just pull some cobblestone here, condense it all the way down, and we'll beat this down into gravel. So, boom. Now it's just going to sit here and do one at a time. So there are upgrade slots for this. If we go to EX Machinist, upgrade slots. So this will process, if we get the netherite one, we'll process up to a stack at a time versus gold will do 16. Well, sorry, it can do, if you only have one gold upgrade, it will do up to 2. But if you put in 3 gold upgrades, it will do a max of 8. Diamonds, if you do a max of 3, will do all the way up to 64. So in order to get that, we are going to need green dye, which we do have cactus. So what we can start working on is growing a little bit of cactus. So we could probably just punch out this row of sugarcane right here, place a cactus, bump into it and prick ourselves. Can you bone meal the cactus to make it grow faster? Nope, unfortunately you can't. So we will just wait for the cactus to just naturally grow. Let's also look at another way of getting green dye. If you use a squeezer it gives you 4 cactus green dye with a 50% chance to get 2. What's up, Coco? How's it going? And we'll just start working on converting all of those over there. Over. So the iron mesh, put the diamond mesh here, and we'll take that, and we'll put the emerald mesh. Alright, so let's actually just go ahead and create this little smithing table right here. End up using the smithing table to upgrade to that netherite mesh, which in order to get netherite, we have to get netherrack first. And so what we're going to have to do is get a lot of lava and start mixing it with redstone. And how we're going to do that is by putting it in these buckets right here, which I do. What I'm going to do is swap out one of these crucibles right here just for this. Put the lava in, just like that. Look how easy that is. Now the thing is, we're going to want a lot of this, so I'm going to have to keep pumping cobblestone into this. Take the netherrack, hammer it down into crushed netherrack, and we will take the crushed netherrack and filter that through this mesh here and try and get some netherite scraps. And hopefully we get lucky. Unfortunately, we are not lucky, but that's okay. So what we are going to do is we're going to go back to pipes. And we're going to set up a little automation system here. We're going to go to fluid pipe, which is just a lot of iron, some buckets, and one redstone piece. Fluid pipe. And we're also going to keep where'd the item pipes go? We'll take the item pipes. And what we are going to do a little system like that. So now what it's going to do is it's always going to consistently pump cobble out of here into this fired crucible, and this fired crucible is always going to continuously melt down the cobblestone into lava. And what we are going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to pick up the stone barrel, take this fluid pipe, put that right here, select shift this to extract, and this is going to consistently fill this up with lava. So the only thing we should have to do at this point is come over here, grab us a bunch of redstone, and just start clicking it. And then basically the longest thing that's probably going to take here is just waiting for all this to melt down, all this cobblestone to melt down into lava, which we can work on expediting this process by making more crucibles and kind of duplicate, not necessarily duplicating the setup, but having them all feed into this one barrel, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's actually work on that. And we are back. So all we did was add the 3 fired crucibles around the center pipe here. So this item pipe is going to fill up these 4 with cobblestone repeatedly. They're all going to melt down and flood straight into the stone barrel. Alright, let's take a look back in the quest book. So the final mesh, we are going to need to get netherite, as we stated before. In order to do so, we have to get the scraps, and to get the scraps, we just have to take crushed netherrack and filter it through emerald mesh. And as we've seen before, we only have a 0.4% chance of doing that. So basically, we just need to let this run, produce lava, and we'll come over here, take some redstone, and we will continue pushing the redstone through and collecting our netherrack. Let's go take a look and see at how this is doing. It's actually doing really good. Now, in order for us to upgrade that, we're kind of just waiting on for the cactus to grow, which that's just going to take its sweet time. So next thing we want to look at doing is to get further down the quest line here, getting started part 2, which looks like it wants us to do more power. It wants us to make a magmatic dynamo, so you can use an ore hammer from all the ores to make your ingots into dust and get yourself invar blend until you have a machine that can do so. So we just have to take an ore hammer and make your ingots into dust. So we need to look at making an invar blend. And what we will do is we'll go over here and use our automated setup. So we'll just throw all the extra nickel in here. It's going to go through the enrichment chamber, enrich, and it should smelt through the iron furnace. So it's going to be pretty sweet. How's this doing? So there's a lot of gravel in there. It's made us 1 diamond and some emeralds. Not too bad, not too bad. I ain't complaining. We're working on getting some invar here. We can look at further pursuing the magnetic dynamo. Which we just need some redstone and some gold. Need to make a redstone flux coil. So how the magnetic dynamo is going to work is this is going to require lava to run. So basically we will just have to we can actually do a little something like this. So whatever direction this coil is pointing into is where the power is going to go. But basically you just take a scoop of lava, throw it in here, it's going to start generating RF. But we did complete that quest, so let's knock that out the books. Multi-cycle injectors. But let's continue on. So we have the flux sieve, so we'll just pick these up real quick. Just for quest purposes. Flux sieve. Pop those back in there. And the flux hammer. Go right back down there. Boom. Knock that out. And now the upgrades are something different, and there's a flux impactor, so just like the sieve, this machine auto outputs to the bottom. So we kind of went through that way. I don't want to get into thermal expansion just yet. So what we can do is we'll actually take a pause on getting started part 2, and we will work on pursuing getting straight through Mekanism. Let's get up here. Enrichment chamber. And we'll just start making these down the way. So we need to first look at getting the basic tier installer. So we need to come over here. We need to get some more osmium. So let's take a look here. So let's do a total of 6. Gonna need a total of 12. And while these are working, these are going to craft us down the basic control circuits. From there, we will need to work on making advanced control circuits, and then we'll probably stop at the advanced tier for now. But we at least need to get through the basic tier, and then we'll have to get a few more infused alloys, which is no big deal at all. So we'll come over here, use the basic tier. All you have to do is come over here and shift right click it on the machine that you want to use it on. So now it's just turned into a basic enriching factory. So now it's doing 3 at a time. This auto sort is a phenomenal button, and basically you just turn it on and it'll auto sort these and spread it out evenly across. Unfortunately, the iron furnace will probably have to get upgraded in the future to be able to accept 2 different things at once, but for now I'm just going to take the iron dust out. Just that this way these are continuously pumping through. These just finished up, so what we need to work on is getting some more of those alloys. So let's throw in 4 redstone, 4 iron. That way we can work on making the advanced tier. We have planks and some osmium. And we also need to work on making advanced control circuits, so we'll actually need a little bit more. So it's actually, I think we'll need just 2 more. Throw that in there. And we will make our advanced tier installer. And we will upgrade this enriching factory to tier 2, which now this lets it do up to 5 items at a time. So right now the bottleneck is the iron furnace, which is perfectly okay, because we were going to work on getting the smelter. We are back. So we just finished getting the smelting factory to advanced, so tier 2. We have it now where this is smelting down the iron and pumping straight into here. We have some energy going straight into the advanced smelting factory, and that is doing 5 at a time, so that is just bringing a lot of iron in for us at the moment. So that is super fantastic. To make next is the electrolytic separator. So time to break it down. It is used to separate chemicals from certain liquids and gases. You'll need a bunch of these if you plan on making an ore processing factory. To start, make one of these and we'll break down the most basic fluid, water. First thing we need to do is get an electrolytic core, which we're going to need some osmium dust, a bunch of infused alloys, some gold dust, and iron dust, which should not be too difficult. So all we need to do here is take some gold. So we'll take 8 gold. We already have some iron dust, and we already have some osmium, and we will take one of our hammers here. Pop this in here, break that down. We'll actually just break it down into 4, and we'll do 4 over here as well. And let's go work on claiming some more infused alloys, which we have already cooked up in the... We did have cooked up in the metallurgic infuser, but we are currently running into a power shortage, and that is because these machines right here are eating through a bunch of power. So let's wait for this coal generator to build back up a little bit, and this should be working on getting power back very shortly. And now this is picking back up again now that the coal generator is finally catching back up. And this is just going to continue making us more alloys, which right now we need 4 more if we want to work on making the electrolytic core, and then we'll need another 2 for this. So technically we need 6 more infused alloys, which now we have another 30, which is pretty sweet. I believe we have enough power that we can turn these back on now. Oh, absolutely. Let's work on getting that. So let's work on building the electrolytic separator. First, we need electrolytic core, and then we'll build the separator. And then from here, we're going to need to take one of our fluid pipes, and we also are going to need to work on building a sink. Now the sink is great because it acts as a infinite water source. You can just infinitely pull water out of. So in order to do that, we're going to need to get clay. To get clay, we have to take water and put dust in the water. So we can actually come back in here. I'll take this and boom, boom. So boom, that'll give us that. We already have 1 water bucket and we also have 3 iron. Once this gets done smelting, we'll go ahead and make that sink to give us an infinite water source. In the future, actually, we'll probably look at making... We'll actually just make 2 of them real quick, just for convenience sake. So we'll do a sink right here. And what we will do is... Honestly, we'll probably just break this. Take that pipe, wrench, shift to extract, boom. Just let that fill up. All we need to do is just continue taking our dust here. Now we have infinite clay sorted. Boom. Look at that. Also, I thought you had to put an entire bucket in here. It turns out it doesn't. For the transfiguration, all it needs is just minuscule amount of either like water or lava, as you saw with the redstone into netherrack, and you can just convert liquids just like that. Super easy. So now that we have that going, we should already have enough to go ahead and build another sink. So let's come back over here to our little factory section that we have going on here. And what we will do is we can add the electrolytic separator. We'll just put it right here for now. What we are going to want to do is probably take a sink here, put that there, and have that start pumping in water. What this is going to do is going to separate between hydrogen and oxygen. So now we're working on building hydrogen. We'll also work on building oxygen. As soon as the water fully depletes, this should work on being done. And we'll go ahead and take a look further. We got the sink. And now once this a gas burning generator. This generator can burn both hydrogen and ethylene to produce power. Hydrogen will not produce more power than it costs to run an electrolytic separator used for ethylene instead. Well, how do we even get ethylene gas? Let's take a look. So first we'd have to get a pressurized reaction chamber, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, nitrogen dioxide, some sort of hydrogen mixed with biofuel. And as a byproduct, we'll get ethylene. But we're not worried about that just yet. We'll get back to that in the future. Let's start working on making the purification chamber. So first we need another enrichment chamber, which is just iron and redstone, as well as a steel casing, which we should still have steel, and glass, which we do. So come down here to our enrichment chamber, make another enrichment chamber. We're going to use that to make a purification chamber. In order to do so, we need another advanced circuit, so we just have to take more alloys and combine them with basic control circuits. We only need to make one more. So we'll use that, and we're looking at making the purification chamber, which we now have. Purification chamber. This machine purifies your ores. It turns one raw ore into 2 clumps, which can be sent through a crusher to be turned into tiny dust, then through an enrichment chamber to get clean dust, and then through a smelter to be turned into an ingot. This will double your ingot output. This machine does require oxygen to run. So because this requires oxygen, I had to make the electrolytic separator so that way we can pump oxygen out of this, pump it into the purification chamber. So in the next episode, we will work on setting up this whole doubling ore process. But as of right now, that is going to wrap up today's episode. So without further ado, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.